She was 28 years old, young, full of life, with a love for adventure pulsing through her veins. On February 22, 2025, a crisp morning in North Wales, Maria Eftimova set out to climb one of the most dangerous mountains in Britain. But something went terribly wrong. By the end of the day, she would be dead. Her body lying broken 65 feet below the rocks of Tryfan Mountain. It wasn't recklessness, it wasn't a storm, just one small step that changed everything. This is the final climb of Maria Eftimova. Tryfan stands tall and jagged like a stone joint in Erory National Park, formerly known as Snowdonia. With a sharp ridge line and no marked paths to guide you, it's a mountain that demands respect. For hikers and climbers alike, it's a magnet, offering both beauty and danger in equal measure. It was used as a training ground to test oxygen equipment and safety techniques before the first ever successful climb of Everest in 1953. Maria Eftimova had been living in the UK for a short while. She was pursuing a degree in civil engineering at the University of Salford. Originally from Bulgaria, she had moved to chase new experiences, discover new places and meet new people. A passionate lover of nature, Maria wasn't a thrill seeker, but she did enjoy the peace that came from being in the wild. On that weekend, she joined a small hiking group to ascend Tryfan, perhaps drawn by the majestic views, the feeling of freedom, or just the chance to disconnect from the everyday world. The weather that morning was calm, the wind was light, the sky overcast but clear. The group was in good spirits as they reached the base of Tryfan's famous North Ridge, a steep rocky route that challenges even confident hikers. Still, it remains popular precisely because of its raw beauty. Maria wore a soft blue jacket, a small backpack slung over her shoulders. Her face lit up in every photo. To those around her, she seemed grounded, cheerful, and present in the moment. A woman truly alive. But Tryfan is unpredictable. It has no clear trail, no forgiving slope. It demands full attention. Every handhold, every step matters. It is not a place for distraction. As they ascended, the rocks became looser. The route narrowed. Deep crevices opened up between boulders. The air turned thinner and colder. Some hikers paused to catch their breath. Others slowed down, letting more experienced climbers lead. Maria was near the middle of the group, a few steps behind a woman she had chatted with earlier, talking about where she grew up, how she loved these open spaces more than cities. She wasn't careless. She wasn't climbing recklessly or posing for photos on an edge. She was simply hiking, placing one foot in front of the other. But nature does not ask for permission before changing everything. At around 1:15 p.m., Maria reached a narrow section just below the summit. One foot shifted slightly forward onto what seemed like a stable stone, but it wasn't. In an instant, it gave way, sliding from under her boot. Her body tipped forward. She tried to regain balance, arms flailing, grabbing at air. Then she vanished over the edge. It happened so fast, no one had time to react. There was a sharp gasp, a sudden scream, and then silence. Below, she fell approximately 65 feet, crashing onto an unforgiving bed of rock far beneath the ridge. Those who witnessed it froze in horror. There was a chilling silence. Panic erupted among the group. Several rushed to the edge, calling her name, their voices trembling, but there was no answer. Others immediately grabbed their phones, hands shaking, struggling to find signal to call emergency services. The mountain rescue team was alerted within minutes. Alongside them, the HM Coast Guard's rescue helicopter was scrambled. For experienced responders, this was another call, but for Maria's group, it felt like a nightmare playing out in slow motion. The rescue helicopter arrived fast, hovering dangerously close to the cliffs. The wind roared as it whipped around the sharp rocks, threatening to destabilize the chopper. Despite the danger, the crew acted with precision. A medic was winched down. The terrain was difficult. Narrow ledges, loose stones, and sheer slopes made every step treacherous. When they reached Maria, they found her motionless. She had landed on a bed of rocks. The impact had caused severe internal injuries. Her breathing had stopped. Medics fought to revive her, administering CPR, monitoring vitals, trying everything, but her injuries were too extensive. There was nothing more they could do. At approximately 3 p.m., Maria Eftimova was pronounced dead at the scene. Her lifeless body was strapped carefully and lifted by air back across the same mountain where she once hiked with joy just hours earlier. The group of hikers who had joined her were devastated. Some wept openly. One woman was inconsolable, saying, "She was right behind me." Maria's death sent shockwaves through the out there community. Messages poured in online. People from the hiking world, strangers, and friends alike shared their condolences. A candlelight vigil was held in her hometown in Bulgaria, but the questions began too. How could this happen? Could it have been prevented? Tryfan is notorious for its danger. It lacks marked trails, often forcing hikers to scramble over boulders with sheer drops on either side. Weather conditions change rapidly, and loose rocks can easily cause slips. Mountain rescue teams have long warned Tryfan is not for beginners, yet many underestimate its risks. This wasn't the first time tragedy had struck there. In recent years, multiple lives have been lost on Tryfan, some even more experienced than Maria. Some locals call it the silent killer of Iriri. What makes this tragedy even more heartbreaking is that Maria was not reckless. She wasn't attempting a daring climb or ignoring advice. She was simply enjoying a beautiful day in the hills with friends, just like thousands of others do every weekend. But on mountains like Tryfan, even one wrong step can be fatal. The rescue team later stated that the conditions were stable. There was no extreme weather, no obvious danger signs, just one loose stone and a moment that changed everything. For Maria's family, the pain was unimaginable. Her parents, still living in Bulgaria, had spoken to her just days before. She had sounded happy, talking about how beautiful the mountains were, how she finally felt free. Now they had to arrange for her body to be flown back home. One of her friends posted, "You lit up every room you walked into. You died doing what you loved, but you should have come home." Another friend, Victoria, quickly said, "Maria was an ambitious, bright and cherished, whose vibrant personality uplifted all around her. She had a passion for engineering, having studied civil engineering at the University of Salford, and a love for extreme sports." Tryfan remains a stunning peak. Its rocky crown still draws thousands each year. But somewhere on those cliffs, for those who know this story, Maria's memory lingers.